John Fury, the father of Tyson Fury, in a recent interview, spoke about his displeasure about the condition of Tyson Fury before the Ngannou fight. He talked about the way Tyson Fury went about the fight or the game plan against Francis Ngannou. He talked about Fury's condition, sort of people he's got around him, and his displeasure of the state that Tyson Fury finds himself in at the moment, going into the USYK fight. Let's talk about this on BWTM Sports, because I think there's a lot of things that John Fury pulled up and said that I believe I mentioned too. Now, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. Glad you could join us. Now, John Fury has revealed that he's not as close to his son as he probably would like to be in terms of being able to communicate a message to his son, an urgent message to his son, to let his son know, look, son, you need to make adjustments going into this USYK fight. That seems quite clear that that's not on the table, and probably that wasn't on the table for the Ngannou fight. So I don't know the dynamics between John Fury and Tyson Fury, right? But what I do know from outside looking in is that, and it crossed my mind, that Tyson Fury isn't listening to John and he's doing his own thing. Fair enough. He's a grown man. He's got children. He's got his own family. You know, he's getting on with his life. He's a superstar in his own right, and may feel he doesn't need the advice of his father. I don't know about all that, but what I do know is that his father has been around and is very passionate about his son, both his sons. He's passionate about Tommy, and he's definitely passionate about Tyson. And he has stood beside Tyson, and he's always had his, from what I noticed, his heart on his sleeve, always spoke how he felt, even if it made him unpopular. More recently, we've seen more of John Fury with Tommy Fury, the Tommy Fury adventures, I call them, where he's been fighting against YouTubers, KSI and Jake Paul. And his father, John Fury, has been, he's done a few things that we'd call maybe crude, ill-advised. Mate, sometimes you might think you just want to distance yourself from what your dad is doing. Even though you might agree with what he's doing, you might laugh about it on the side. You might want to distance yourself away from it. You know, situations where John may be doing it in good intention of his heart, but then maybe getting sidelined or put to one side, or people are laughing on the side. But, you know, John is doing what he thinks is best in his son's interest, or speaking his mind in what he feels his truth is, and by doing so might not be doing the politically correct things, might be doing the right PR things. And when you do them sort of things, Tyson may say, look, Dad, don't do this, or Dad, don't do that. And then John may say, well, I'll do what I want, I'll say what I like. And that may be one of the reasons why Tyson says, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, because I try and tell you not to do certain things, and you do them, and you go ahead and do them anyway. You're a man in your own right. Well, I'm a man in my own right. I'm a big man. You're a big man. So, and I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just suggesting. Now, if you recently listened to any of my talk about Fury versus USYK, one of my biggest concerns, two of my biggest concerns. First is that Tyson Fury, people say, oh, if the Tyson Fury that fought Klitschko, that Tyson Fury is gone. And the reason why Tyson Fury is gone and completely gone and will never return is because they've got something in the corner called Sugar Hill. And why people are rating and jumping up and down about Sugar Hill, I want to talk to you all about something you may not know about. Now, back in the day, you remember Prince Nassim Hamed? When Prince Nassim came into camp with Manuel Stewart, James Ellie Bashir, who was Manuel Stewart's right-hand man, like, he was the go-to guy. He was Manuel Stewart's go-to guy, Uncle Bashir, in other words. He was the go-to guy. He was the go-to guy. Good evening, my friend. How you doing? He was the go-to guy, right? And when Hamed first came to camp with Manuel Stewart said he didn't like the idea of Hamed bouncing around the ring, dancing around, all that stuff, and knocking people out, because that's what Hamed would do. Hamed would bounce around the ring, he'd be moving, doing all sorts of stuff, and then crack it at you. The element of surprise, punched off the punching power and speed. Speed times strength equals power. But Hamed was accurate. Yeah, he sometimes went off balance trying to launch big haymakers, but his career was a lot of times he was bouncing around the ring, or he was unorthodox in what he did. When he came into camp with Manuel Stewart wanted Hamed to hold his feet more, stop the bouncing around, and really let his shots go. So Manuel Stewart's thought process was, you know what? If you hold your feet, you'd be more of a puncher, so you get people out there quicker. Instead of Hamed being that relaxed guy, yeah, that was it. And Bashir said no. He was like, no. Let the guy be how he is. He came in like this. Let's refine him, but let's keep him as he is. Let me just get my water out. Sorry. See? Ever water. It's selling in Nigeria. Probably, I think, the best water in Nigeria ever. There you go. Product placement there. Anyway, one thing about this water I don't like is when it starts, it's not cold. Anyway, I digress. So Bashir was like, no, keep him the way he is. Let's work with him as he is. But Stewart was not keen on that. And there were fights. Let me give you the Jorge Sanchez fight, when Hamed got dropped and was hurt very badly by a great fight by Jorge Sanchez, savage fight with Hamed and Sanchez. We saw Hamed starting to use less of his feet and just hold himself more. Even when we look at the Barrera fight, that was another fight where old Hamed probably would have dealt with Barrera, but the Hamed that was fighting Barrera was the one who held his feet and tried to let big shots go. And he was easy to be counterpunched by Barrera. And that really was the beginning of the end of Hamed on the world stage. That night that Barrera outclassed, outboxed, and beat up Hamed, to be honest. It was a sad night. So we now have Tyson Fury, who after the Wilder fights has stuck with that style. Since he's beat Wilder, I mentioned it, Tyson Fury stuck with that upright style, walking forward and trying to bulldoze everybody, right? And that style hasn't changed. So that Klitschko style, where he's herky-jerky and moving all around, that style is gone. So it's just a guy now that's trying to load it with big shots and take people out, knock people out. That's what we've got now. And he's easier to hit. And who said the same thing? John Fury. And I've said it over and over and over again. People think that because Tyson's big and he's strong, he's just going to walk forward with that sort of caveman style. That's going to work against Usyk. And I've said already, that style will not work against Usyk. And John gave a perfect example of how that doesn't work. He talked about Jerry Cooney against Michael Spinks. Michael Spinks is a much smaller guy, but able to rattle off punches and get out of there. Usyk's got good footwork, trains hard, is dedicated. And John has questioned the training technique on all the signs of somebody who isn't living the life. I mean, that clearly was to see in the Ngannou fight. I don't buy. I actually don't. People say, oh, well, in this fight, Tyson's going to come up and he's going to come up better. But better might not be enough. You see, because how much weight is Tyson going to have to shift to get himself into the shape he was for the second Deontay Wilder fight. It's that sort of shape. And has he got that motivation now when he's at the top of the hill, making all the money he's made, calling all the shots? You know, you are on the top of your game, and you've had fights with Chisora and Dillian White, and the third fight of Wilder after the Wilder fight. Has he still got the motivation to not just train and not just get fit, but to be in arguably the biggest fight of your career and the toughest fight of your career? You might think, well, I thought Wilder, I could take Wilder's big plus punch, and this guy's smaller than me, I'm just going to run you over. If Tyson's going to camp with that mentality and everyone around him is telling him, yeah, Tyson, all you have to do is you'll run straight through the Usyk. Look at what Dubois did. Dubois dropped him. And you're a better boxer than Joshua. If he's got them sort of yes men around him and he's not putting the effort into the gym, in the training, I don't see how he can be better than the Ngannou fight. I really don't. These people are, oh, yeah, Tyson be better. You are giving Tyson the benefit of the doubt. You all are giving Tyson Fury the benefit of the doubt. But you gave Tyson Fury the benefit of the doubt before he fought Francis Ngannou. And I told you all, Francis Ngannou is dangerous. And he proved it to be very dangerous. He dropped Fury. So, you know, John looked at the dietitian of Fury and he said, well, if that's the dietitian, look at the state that Fury came in, or strength and conditioning. He said that Fury's not as strong as he should be. But he said Fury's not a big puncher. Not like an Ngannou, not like a Wilder. So the style that he has, that style does not suit what he's trying to do. So if it was ineffective against Ngannou, who got dropped in a fight I actually thought he lost, because if you take the knockdown and if you take a point off for the elbow and then the close rounds in between it, you know, the way Tyson has lived outside the ring, I'm not so sure if we're ever going to see that Klitschko version of Tyson Fury again. I think that version gives Usyk a different look. But this version, I can tell you what, he's just going to walk forward and try and knock Usyk out at one style, move forward and try and knock him out. Against a guy who's highly intelligent, people not giving credit for. And the other thing when I ask people is, okay, we are now in December. Fights in February, right? Is Tyson Fury able to lose the weight necessary to be ready to fight Usyk healthy? So your camp is going to be about losing weight, not strategy, losing weight. There's a difference between going into camp to lose the weight, and so you're going to have to shift that weight. And you've got Christmas coming up. So are you going to have an easy Christmas? Are you going to sit at home with your family? Or are you going to be taking yourself away from your family and going into camp? Sugar Hill, in terms of how he's training Fury for this fight, for the Ngannou fight, and the way the strategy against Ngannou, who came up with that strategy to go head first and to go one-on-one with Ngannou, fighting a style that brought out Ngannou's strengths? So you're going straight forward against Ngannou like a bulldozer, against a man who's physically stronger than you. That's really not the strategy, is it? And you want to get up into clinches with the guy who's got a UFC background and is noted for that. Why would you do that? Who came up with that game plan? And that's against Francis Ngannou. So what's the game plan against Usyk? You've heard Fury talk about it. You're a pumped up middleweight. He really thinks he's going to walk through Usyk. Let's remember the same Tyson Fury that got dropped by Steve Cunningham, who's a cruiserweight that moves up to heavyweight. Coming back to Styles and Hamed, and Stewart. We now have Sugar Hill that has Tyson fighting like a mummy. And whilst that is good against 15 stone Deontay Wilder, who's more effective on the front foot than he's on the back foot, Usyk's style is very different. He can fight off the front foot, he can fight off the back foot, he can give you lateral movement. Very different. Very, very different. Otto Wallin, a southpaw, gave Fury a lot of problems. And let's remember, let's have it be said, fact is, Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin were two guys that went to get blown away. Tom Schwartz got blown away. Otto Wallin was a shock to Fury's system. Fury didn't think Otto Wallin was going to be that good, have that much punch resistance and fire back. And you saw how difficult that fight was. And that's Otto Wallin. And you can't tell me that Otto Wallin's a better boxer than Alexander Usyk. He's not going to carry the same speed, boxing IQ, movement. And Tyson's going to be chasing Usyk around the ring. And Usyk will be able to walk Tyson into shots. That's what I think. So I don't know if Tyson can get himself down to the... So let's say Tyson has a good Christmas. Okay, he wants to start his camp in the new year. Wants to do things his way. Stamps camp in the new year. What happens then? January time, a month, February? I don't know. Is Tyson Fury's camp going to be about losing weight? Or is he going to take a chance? Because if he's in the ring at that 19.5, 20 stone again, and he comes in against Usyk with that weight, it's a lot of weight to lug around the ring, and there's a lot of you to hit. And his hands are not as fast as Usyk. His feet are not as fast as Usyk. And his boxing IQ, the last guy that I think Tyson Fury fought that has boxing IQ, still was Klitschko. And if you're going and saying that Usyk can't punch, well, that's dangerous as well. So I don't know if the style that Fury has now, based on where that style came from, and that style came from the end of the first fight of the Wilder fight, Fury has banked on that style, pushing fighters back since the end of the first Wilder fight. And let me bring you in with something else. I remember the reason why Peter Fury joined up with Tyson Fury. I remember the first interview I did with Tyson Fury. And he was saying how, it's like not exactly, but I'll paraphrase it, like Tyson was fighting like a barroom brawl. Like he had so much skills. I think it was Nevin Pajcek, Tyson Fury fought, and somebody else, and they dropped him. And Pete was saying, well, Tyson's got so much skill. It's got such a better skill set. It's like using jab, taking southpaw, and not getting into them sort of fights. We started to see that when he fought, I believe when he fought Marty Rogan. And Peter got him to box more, to get away from these firefights. And it looks as though Tyson Fury has gone back to that style. That style, that barroom brawl style. And barroom brawls he used to have on Channel 5. Do you remember those fights? Nevin Pajcek fight. And there was another dude he fought as well, the Chisora fight. So if Tyson believes this is the way he needs to prepare himself for the fight against Usyk, then fine. But I'm not convinced that that style, that I'm just going to come forward and try and knock you out style, is going to be Alexander Usyk. I really don't. I don't. Because I just don't. I don't. I think Joe Joyce hits harder than Tyson Fury. I do. In terms of durability, don't know. I'd like to see Zhang hit Fury on the chin and see what he does about it. But I just don't think that style is going to work. I really don't. So he's going to have to lose. I think he's got to shift me. If it's me, I get Fury shifting a lot of that weight off. And I get him to pull out this fight in February, whatever it is. In February, he pulls out of that fight. I don't think he's going to be in the sort of shape necessary to beat Usyk. And if he does, it's unhealthy. The weight shift. That's what I think. Because he's been using his weight, fighting at his weight for a while now. And I think it matters. It does matter. So if Fury's just fighting for the money, then he's a prize fighter. I get it. And he may feel, you know what? I'm on top of the world now. Got my own TV show. I've done everything. Wrestling. All I've got to do is fight a guy for belts that I've already won. So we'll see. But a lot of the stuff John Fury is saying about the sort of people around Fury, Tyson, he doesn't talk to Tyson much these days. Pulled up, talked about the strength and conditioning trainer and the lack of strength Tyson has. Talks about being in the gym and having good days in the gym and, not prepared to work hard enough in the gym. Necessary, he says that, Usyk's got a great team around him. And John seen things. John says, I don't even want to be the trainer of Tyson Fury. I just want to see Tyson Fury on the right track. He did say something that was quite puzzling. And he said, there's no old trainers. I said, well, what happened to James Ali Bashir? John, what happened to James Ali Bashir? Shane, what happened to James Ali Bashir? What happened to Stacey McKinley? And there's a few others out there. What's his name? Buddy McGirt. Andre Rozier. These are guys that are good trainers. Good trainers. There's a few others as well. But, American trainers. And I'm sure Bashir would have a lot more to give Fury than Sugar Hill would. That's a fact. Sugar Hill was a young boy when Bashir was in camp with the man and Stewart. So, all right. Those are my thoughts. Let me know if you think that Fury can get himself down to the sort of fighting weight that's necessary and he can make the technical adjustments, because there's one thing going to camp to lose weight and there's another thing going into camp to work on your technical skills, because he's going to need to work on his technical skills. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. This has been BWTM Sports. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments, and have a Merry Christmas. Take care.